Hey, I'm Boris Zhadanovsky. I'm an attorney at Searcy, Scurlow, Barnard, and Shipley. And I've been an avid cyclist for approximately 8 years. And I've ridden all over Palm Beach County, and I know exactly how treacherous it can be to be on a bike. So the question that I get asked most often is, are bicyclists allowed to be on the road when there is no bike lane? Well, there is a Florida statute that is on point that clarifies that, and that Florida statute's 316.2065. And that statute indicates that cyclists, bicyclists, are allowed to be on the same roadway with cars, even when there is no bike lane or a dedicated shoulder. It's important to know that when you see a cyclist on the road, he is allowed to be there. The bicyclist has to follow all the rules of the road that are applicable to cars. However, there are additional rules for bicyclists that are sharing the road with the cars. The purpose of those rules is to make the bike more predictable to the motorist, so therefore safer for everyone involved, for everyone sharing the road. One of the primary rules that you need to keep in mind is that a bicycle or a bicyclist who is traveling slower than the other vehicles going in the same direction needs to be at the rightmost part of the road in the direction that they're traveling. Now, a bicyclist can leave the rightmost part of the lane when there is an obstacle ahead, such as a stopped car, debris in the road, an animal, pedestrians, anything of the sort. If there is such a hazard, bicyclists can reasonably leave the rightmost part of the lane to avoid the hazard, as long as it is safe to do so. And if the lane in which the bicyclist is in is too narrow to share with a car, then that bicycle has a right, under the Florida statutes, to take up the whole lane, because it would be unsafe to share that lane with a car. Now, it might irritate some people to find this out, but even though bicyclists, when on the road, are treated as you would treat a car, a bicycle can also be equally on the sidewalk. And when a bicyclist is on the sidewalk, he should be treated as a pedestrian. When passing somebody from behind, they need to give an audible warning indicating that they're about to pass another pedestrian. Making a left-hand turn as a cyclist is one of the most dangerous maneuvers that a cyclist can take. Now, how a cyclist can signal to traffic in which direction he's about to turn, because a cyclist doesn't have little blinkers that lets the traffic go he's about to go left or right, is a cyclist needs to use his hands. So you use the hand that's closest to traffic, which since a cyclist is supposed to be on the right side of the road, it's going to be the cyclist's left hand. So if a cyclist is about to shift to the left lane, he needs to indicate with his left hand that he's going to the left lane. Now, because this hand's closest to traffic, what does a cyclist do if he's trying to indicate he's going to the right? Well, he holds his hand like this to indicate that he's going in that direction, which is a little counterintuitive, but it makes sense, and it should be second nature to any cyclist. Now that the cyclist has made his transition over from the rightmost lane, he needs to repeat steps 1 and 2, which is scan the road, make sure there's no one directly behind him, make sure there's no obstacles ahead of him in the lane that he's switching. He needs to once again signal to anyone who's looking that he's about to switch one more lane, and then he needs to move over when it's safe to proceed. And he needs to repeat that process for every lane until he is in the designated turn lane, if there is one available. Now, it is important to mention that a cyclist has the right to take up the whole turn lane. There's no requirement that he needs to be to the rightmost part of the left turn lane or the leftmost part to let other traffic by. It is safer for him to be in the middle of the lane, and then once he completes his left-hand turn, to go back to the rightmost side of the road. That is to say that if there's more than one left turn lane, even though there is no requirement that he be in one or the other lane, in the interest of his safety, he should be in the rightmost left turn lane so that he can make a very easy transition to the rightmost side of the road after he completes his turn through the intersection. I want to stress to anyone that is watching or could watch this that there is only one road, and it is extremely important that motorists, bicyclists, and pedestrians treat each other with care and the utmost respect.